Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan here, and I'm really excited to be here talking anime with all of you guys. And as always, I am accompanied by the one, the only, the mad Isak Wolf. What is up, man?
Disappointed! Oh, seriously, I had downloaded a voice molder and I didn't get it to work before the recording, and I'm disappointed by that. But otherwise, it's good.
I understood nothing except beast mode modifier.
I had downloaded a voice molder so it would sound different in order to just confuse you.
Well, that's I appreciate you thinking of me in the worst possible ways.
Exactly.
Oh, Isak, why do you do everything to drive me mad or drive me into the same madness that you abide in?
Because our listener likes it.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say about listeners. You really believe listeners enjoy you driving me crazy?
Yep.
Do you really believe that?
Of course.
Well, as long as we all agree that that's what you agree on, and that's what you think and agree on, and that's what we can all agree on. And what are we talking about again?
I don't know. Something genetic.
Ooh. BNA. Okay, I'm sorry, that's bad. So yes, guys, welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We're really excited to be able to record once more. It's been a while since we recorded. We did miss last week's live stream. I take full responsibility. My work life have been crazy, but we are here recording a brand new episode of the Amateur Otaku Podcast because we do not want to stop making fresh content for you guys and share our thoughts about upcoming anime that you should check out or anime that you should explore if you're looking for something that will be of your taste and your liking so you can dip into the world of anime. Because as we've always said here on the show, there's so much anime out there for everybody, and we hope to one day review one that will tickle your fancy, caress your interest, and allow you to dive into this awesome world because it's one of the best genres and mediums of storytelling out there, and we do not want you to miss out. So, as you guys know, we are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and you can also find us on our YouTube channel at The Amateur Otaku. So if you like what we're doing here in this show, subscribe, share with your friends, and press that like button. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you click on that bell for notifications so you do not miss any single live stream, any single episode, and keep enjoying and being part of this Amateur Otaku community. Isak, I am so excited about this episode. It's another recommendation from you, but of course, it's also a recommendation from our good friend, Davo Borrego. He recommended this show to us, which came out on Netflix earlier this year. It's our second listener recommendation, and I can't wait to talk about it, Isak. Are you excited? Are you excited about this?
Absolutely.
Now, before I read a synopsis and we jump right into it and talk about this awesome show, did you know that this was going to happen prior to it just premiering on Netflix, or did you just find it scrolling around?
Scrolling around like a speed of sound.
Oh, there we go. So, right on track with the puns, Isak. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw it come out. I think I saw it come out a little bit after you told me that you had just seen it, because I know that you sit and binge anime like crazy. That's what makes you the Mad Doctor. And I'm gonna be honest. It never really drew me in till us recording this episode. That was a recommendation from our listeners. Not, of course, that I doubt your recommendations, but it's just that we've been seeing so much anime for the show that I'm actually happy that we got it as a recommendation, because it meant that I needed to put time aside to watch it. And I did, and this show is pretty cool. It's not groundbreaking. it's not something entirely new, but it's I think the animation jumps stands out pretty nicely. I think it's one of the more interesting things that I've seen with this monster genre to say, at least in anime form, because I know there's a lot of different versions of this story, but I like how they mixed it with science fiction and all that stuff. Like, this is the kind of show that could easily be translated to a live action movie. You know what I mean? And it will work.
Yeah.
And it would work very, very well. And I do find, but what I found the most fascinating, which I don't know if you knew this, is that this show was an original animation for Netflix. Like,
I know.
there's no manga before it, so it's actually not just a distribution deal. And it's Studio Trigger, which it wasn't until this episode that I found out Studio Trigger is relatively new. I didn't know that. Like, Studio Trigger's only been around for 9 years. I thought they were older than that. And I did not know that their first anime ever was Kill la Kill. I did not know that. Like, that was the studio that was the studio that debuted Studio Trigger. That was and of course, Kill la Kill is one of the most famous animes of the last 10 years. Now, do you know the creators of this show?
No.
So I'm going to give you something that blew my mind. So, as you know, Studio Trigger has worked on a lot of projects. They have Kill la Kill. They have Darling in the Franxx, which we've covered before. They have Little Witch Academia, which is one of the shows that came out like 3 years ago that's been super popular. And they have Brand New Animal. And they have SSSS Gridman. That's also from Studio Trigger. Now, one of the most interesting things that I found is that the creator or the director of Brand New Animal, he has worked on Neon Genesis Evangelion. He worked on Dead Leaves. He worked on Metabots. He worked on Gurren Lagann. He worked on Kill la Kill. He worked on Fooly Cooly. And he's been an anime.
I didn't think I ate some shrooms right now. Oh, take cover.
Okay, I have no idea what just happened, but
Fooly Cooly is insane.
It is, and the thing is that the person that directed it was actually an animator. So he worked in the animation department for all these projects. So he has like a lot of awesome projects underneath his belt. This is one of his first ones as creator. Like he as director, like he directed the entire series, which is super awesome. So Yoh Yoshinari is like one of those big guys right now in anime. He's been in the industry a long time, and I really love that they have these veterans coming in and do awesome anime for Netflix. They actually have spawned a manga for Brand New Animal that right now is premiering. I think it's in, let me see which book it's coming out on. They did a light novel, and the manga is on Jump Comics, so it's coming in Shonen Jump. It's going on Tonari no Yo Jump. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But even so, the writer of BNA worked on Gurren Lagann, worked on Promare, and Kill la Kill. So, I mean, they got a great team of people here, and it shows on the show. And I think I mentioned to you before that I like how the animation reminds me of Kill la Kill. You know what I mean? It's like big guys, like not everybody's entirely proportionate. It feels like, you know, like it's a cartoon, but I like that it's kind of like that kind of animation style is kind of like Trigger's unique animation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like you see that kind of animation constantly in a lot of their productions, and you see it a lot on this show. So if you guys like Studio Trigger's animes and shows, you're definitely going to enjoy Brand New Animal. It is a great show with a great female lead protagonist, a great stoic male protagonist, and I think it has a lot. I think I like a lot of the societal and sci-fi elements of the show. It's pretty good. So I wanted to read a quick synopsis, Isaac, and then we go ahead and jump into the discussion. Cool?
Yeah.
So here's a synopsis for BNA, Brand New Animal. In a world where the social and racial tensions among humans and beastmen, which are humanoid beings that can morph into werebeast creatures, is at its peak, Michiru Kagemori runs for her life to Anima City, a sector in Japan where all beastmen and women are said to be able to live in peace and harmony. But not all is what it seems, as devious plots against the citizens of Anima City are uncovered by our young Tanuki beastwoman and Shiro Ogami, the proud wolfman that protects and watches over all. Will they be able to save Anima City? Was Michiru really a human once? And will the might of the silver wolf be enough to save the future of all beastmen? Welcome to BNA. So BNA, Isaac, you saw this show first. You loved it first and recommended it to me first. So what are your thoughts on this show? Why was this a show that you would recommend?
It's how should I put it? It's a very smart show. Because you know how shows want to cover, sprinkle in a message of sort, but it gets it just get you roll your eyes because said story are unable to brought forth because sort of like how we talked about the author for and there was a mangaka for Sword Art Online and his use of PTSD, sort of like that.
You mean our disagreement about it? Yes, I remember.
No, I'm not speaking about that one. I'm speaking about how the mangaka, author, you name it, that doesn't read up on just do some research, has truly something to say when it comes to that subject matter and not using
you mean like
for the sake of...
Yeah, you mean like he doesn't have a real hold on the subject and it's just writing about
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And BNA feels like one of those that does have a hold on the subject matter that they want to cover. And I argue that they do it well. Which is one of the reasons that I think I really enjoy the series, because it's a smart series. It isn't is it any groundbreaking? No, but it knows what they want to cover, and they execute it quite well. In which I will argue it's good. It was a smart thing to introduce someone that's on the middle ground of the whole thing, so to speak, because then you have because that's the perfect way to include point of view characters for the viewer in the best way possible. And I don't think they hit the message they clearly want in the head, sort of like, this is what we mean, this is what we mean, you don't have to think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like they present their argument in a way that it's not that you don't have to think, but in a clear way that provokes thinking, especially the different ways that that they present these topics. They have very clear examples where they're not exploiting the serious topics that they're talking about to make it a spectacle, but they're doing it in a way where we can talk about it without being offensive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think you mean about like this one of the center topics of this show, of course, is this societal tension between humans and beastmen. I mean, and humans, of course, fear beastmen because these people look like humans, but they can become these beast creatures. Like you have men that can become huge rhinos. You have women that can become these panthers. You know what I mean? Like they can become beasts. You know,
It's sort
and
of like Beastars with the I don't I can't remember what they called each subgroup, but each
well, you have well, I wouldn't say just that because I get what you're saying because Beastars you have the different groups of the food chain. You have your carnivores, you have your herbivores, you have all different types of animal, and they all kind of like dictate societal wise, depending on where they stand in the food chain. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But this show does something different than Beastars. I would even argue because Beastars uses the the differences within the food chain to create the different societal groups, right? Which is
Yeah,
something that's already understandable, but because they're humanoid animals, it has a different societal impact and meaning. But here it's different because here you're literally creating a distinction of race. And when I say race, I'm not talking about color because they're literally different races. You have a race that's called the Beastmen and a race that's called humans, and it accentuates what does the distinction from both parties mean to the society. Like humans
exactly.
fear what they can't understand, and they want to kill what they don't understand because they
Which
fear it.
is which is uh, which is pretty much um, how people is in real life.
Yes,
I'm not gonna.
yes, yes. No, no, and you're totally right because a lot of people their hatred grows out of a place of lack of understanding, of lack of wanting to understand and to see people as equals. And whether we're talking about color of skin, a conversation that we can have today with the color of our skin, right? And sadly, in our world, that is a very huge topic. BNA talks about it between humans and beastmen because they have yes, the beastmen have particular disadvantages, but that doesn't mean that they don't have emotions, that they don't have. Just because they can become beastmen doesn't make them not human, not living beings that require respect, that require attention, which is interesting. And I don't want to sound crazy, but like in a lot of places, like when you hear racial slurs or arguments, a lot of the things that you hear from the from the part that is expressing the hatred, they call the other side animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's interesting how that imagery is seen in this conversation between humans and beastmen and how they hate each other, how they fear each other, and how they rather them be eradicated as opposed to finding a way to live peacefully. And I like how the show begins making this like its central topic, but then it becomes more than that because if we're to say that this show limits itself to the exploration of this tension, that's not all it does because it also kind of explores the effects that living under racial tension have on the different corners of society. Like you have the women that have no men or families that have to do, they feel that they are forced to do these dark and nefarious things to survive.
yeah,
You have you have the mayor that has to keep playing devil's advocate to a degree to be able to afford to provide her citizens a peaceful place to live, only to be betrayed by those that she trusts. Like you have a lot of all these things, and then you have the other side of Ogami, which is our Wolfman, right? That he hates humans because he has seen the attack, the hatred, and the destruction caused by humans, brought over by humans, and he cannot see any possibility of forgiving them because he wants to protect his people, because he's seen all the dangers that the other side have brought over to his life. Which is why, like you said, it is very powerful that our main character, Michiru, is a, let's put it, and I think this makes it even more powerful. It's a female beastman, right? Who apparently was human before. So we don't know her life prior to becoming a beastman. It shows like she was just a regular, high school girl. But the fact that she became a beastman for being human gives her a special point of view of both sides of the argument. Like
exactly.
on one side, she tries to defend not all humans are like that, but then she sees how horrible humans are from the eyes of the Beastman. And at the same time, she is seeing from the side of the Beastman that there could be a way to have a good life with humans. And using her as the vehicle to traverse the story is very interesting. It's very creative. So I have to agree with you 100%, Isaac. Apart from the fact that even though this show explores these ideas, it does it in a way that is easy to digest. Like, this show is not a dark show. It's not a overwhelming serious show. I think it's a light-hearted anime that is not afraid to be serious when it has to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, for example, it's not like we're watching Elfen Lied, or like if we're watching Akira. You know what I mean? Like it's a show that is there to blow your mind, or super serious, or tedious to watch. It's not like we're watching Neon Genesis. It's a show that it's easy to watch. It's beautiful to look at because the use of colors in the animation is very particular. Especially when you have all these scenes in the dark, their use of blue and red is very provocative. Like their shows, like I don't know, the animation is just top notch. But I like that it shows also, because everything takes place in Anima City, one could consider that there's like a one-sided argument because you mostly see everything from the Beastman side. But then again, it makes sense because you're showing it from the side of the somewhat oppressed. You know what I mean? But I like how it takes the time to show happy and beautiful moments within that city, because it's not all bad. Like, they do have peace in Anima City. They do have peace, separated from the humans. But it's kind of crazy how even when they're enjoying their peace in their short way, how because of the hatred that they've suffered, or because of bad direction, which is, we can talk about Sylvasta and stuff like that, but I don't want to get into spoilers. How because of a tragic past, some people, some groups can destroy themselves, whether it's because of they have experienced hatred or because they are full of hatred. Like, for example, the humans are calling war upon themselves because they can't find a way to not hate. You know what I mean? Which is why in the beginning of the show, those humans get their asses kicked because they were trying to hate on the main character.
Yeah. So. And it's it also contains a ton of Fire Emblem voice actors. Sharmila, or however you pronounce it, the voice of Rhea, or if you're a Persona fan, it's voice of Makoto, or if you have in Fairy Tail, it's the voice of Lucy in Fairy Tail. We also have the Alexander. I can't even pronounce her name. The voice of Haru and Marianne, Robbie Damon, the original Tuxedo Mask. The list goes on, and I just find it so funny. These actors and actresses are everywhere. But yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on when you speak about how this series is covering these important things in such a well refined way, considering, like I spoke earlier, it's you can't do something like this without being you know how it's when you don't even, I mean, it shows that you are not subtle with your message, and the only thing you are interesting is the message and not writing a story. That becomes a problem. But here they find the story important and add the message on top of the whole. It's sort of like the meat is the story, and the presentation is the potatoes, and the dessert is the message. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, like they understood that for the message to be meaningful, they had to have a good story around it that would substantiate the message. That's what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I would even say that some of my favorite episodes of this anime are the slice of life ones. Like, yes, I like the story. I like the whole thing. The message is pretty clear. It's pretty well thought out, very well expressed. Now, what I like the most about it, which proves to your point, that they didn't just focus on providing a message. They focused on telling a good story with the message encoded in their BNA, which, by the way, that name is actually pretty brilliant. Brand new animal, BNA, as in beast, do the correct accent. I don't know. It's pretty cool. But like for me, one of the evidences of it being a good story is the whole baseball episode. That's actually my favorite episode on the entire show. I think it was fantastic because it does all the things in one. It tells you the story of a beastman trying to make it in the human world, to follow his dream, how that backfired on him just because he was different, and how it affected the rest of his life. To then have it also had a fun baseball story, and how baseball was contaminated because it became more about the violence between the beastmen as opposed to the sport that people love. You know what I mean? But it was all done.
It reminded me how if the team behind Mario Extreme Mario Soccer did a baseball game for Mario.
Yeah.
That game is Mario on crack. But anyway, continue.
I do find it funny also that the team is called the Bears, and it's kind of like a call out to the old movie Bad News Bears.
I did not know that, but then again, I don't watch.
Movies. That's fine. It may not be, but it makes me think about that. Like that's like one of the traditional like the Sandlot or stuff like that. that's like this kid's baseball movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drunk coach and all that stuff. So it kind of has a lot of stuff like that. They're all bears, and and I don't know. It was one of the funniest episodes of the show, but it didn't lose track from what their message because they still found a way to comment meaningfully in the argument that they're carrying throughout the show. And of course, like any other Studio Trigger property, the action is pretty awesome.
I mean, they know how to animate stuff like that.
Yes.
So, and honestly, while it might not be groundbreaking and oh shit, this is the no one can ever do something like that. But at the same time, you can notice that they have a distinctive flair compared to other series.
Yes. And it all has to do with their use of colors in the animation. I think the way they use these digital pastel colors make it stand out very nicely. And I think it's unique to this show, which is what I liked it the most. You know, and I don't know, this show has a certain energy that is a very easy watch. Like I binge most of it. Both the sub and the dubbed is pretty fantastic. But one of the best things about Netflix is that you can watch anime in multiple languages, which is actually one of the strong suits of Netflix, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Do they have it in Swedish or just German?
What? I watched it in English. They have never dubbed anime here. Netflix have never dubbed an anime in Swedish, if that's what you mean. The only time I know that they're dubbed the only animes that has been dubbed here in Sweden, as far as I know, is Pokemon. I do believe Naruto, and what's it called? Oh, sorry. I do believe One Piece also. And they also, for some ungodly reason, dubbed Your Name when they gave it a theatrical release. When you can, which makes no sense considering you can argue that when they dub it is for so that family can go with. And I wouldn't say that Your Name is a movie that little kids wants to watch.
Yes, it's a young it's a YA movie, if not young. It's a YA movie through and through. So currently you can watch BNA in German, in English, in Spanish, in French, or in Japanese. I love Netflix.
Yeah.
I may watch it in German to see how it sounds.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch bitte?
No. What?
Yeah, sprechen Sie Deutsch bitte?
I don't think so. I will not like jelly with my bread. Wait, that's not what you said?
I just said, you said, are you speaking German?
No. So let's do a recap of what we've talked about BNA. It has interesting commentary about racial tension, about societal tension when within differences of classes, races. It has a very interesting premise with the idea of the Beastmen and their society. It's a good exploration of this city where they're all desiring to live in peace and in their own space. Let's talk about the sci-fi aspect of it. I like that they took the time to talk about the genetics and the things that genetically separate the two races. But they don't say it in a way like, oh, we're better. They're just pointing a fact and how facts are important. in understanding people. You know what I mean? Like understanding who we are and how we're built is how we can be better. And it's just understanding our differences as opposed to trying to disregard what makes us us. Because one of the things that you always have in different sectors and different things, which is the whole theory that Ogami was feeling towards the end, where some people feel that they have to stop being themselves to be able to fit in with their oppressors. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. And I like that they take the time to explain the key differences between the genetical differences between beastmen and humans, and how that becomes a big part of the final argument towards the end of the series, where the talk of a cure for beastmanhood is explored. And that's one of the things that I love of the character of Ogami, because he doesn't blindly hate humans, because as soon as he learns of what happened in his old city, which I'm not going to go into details, he understands that humans are not entirely to blame, and he's able to move beyond that fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's able to grow in spite of the hatred that he had because of what he suffered. But one of the big things that talk about his character, which is why I like his proud stoic. Anybody can say that the wolf has always been like a symbol of a proud animal, you know, and I like that they play that in the character of Ogami, but it's never done like a obnoxious pridefulness. You know what I mean? It's like a pride of someone that knows who he is, that knows what he stands for, that it comes out of love for his people. You know what I mean? And I like how he's the one that stood up even to the mayor and goes like, no, like there's no reason why we need to stop being who we are. There's no reason why we need to sacrifice what makes us us just to barter peace with humans, just to barter peace with other people. Like, we shouldn't sacrifice, and that idea is so powerful. Like, we shouldn't sacrifice who we are and who we have become just to fit in. And I think that's also connects with the argument of the idea of Michiru, who's the main character, where she embraces the idea that she's now a beastman. And it's not a bad thing. You know? Apart from the fact that she has multiple abilities, but that's something that I want people to explore and discover in the show. But yeah, it's pretty fantastic. It's pretty fantastic.
And it's something it's a series I highly recommend.
Yep. So Isaac, I think we've spoken our mind about BNA, and I think this is a series that people should watch. Guys, BNA is an awesome show that talks about these tensions, explores a new concept of what it is to be a beastman or werebeast, and it has great animation. Music is pretty awesome. The story is good, has tons of laughs along the way, but most importantly, it has a ton of heart. And it takes everything that it tries to tackle very seriously, and it's a great watch. So go watch it. We at the Amateur Otaku strongly recommend BNA, and we want to thank our good friend Tavo Borrego, Tavo PR. Thank you for recommending BNA. It was a great, awesome watch for us. Thank you. Now, Isaac, I am aware that you put out a feeler on Twitter about the fact that we're recording, and did anyone come up with questions? Was there any comments or anything like that?
It was, and we have one from Leo Rydell from Geekly Goods, and he asking, what did he say?
What did he ask?
Who do you think will be a major character who will die soon?
Oh my god. See, this is kind of weird. This is kind of weird because it's kind of like an open-ended question. So he says, "Who do you think will be a major character who will die soon?" Leo, I don't know what to say because I don't know what you're talking about because we see so many shows. Do you think he's talking about My Hero? I mean, have you?
I think he's talking. I argue he talks in general.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on. I mean, Isaac, I'm reading My Hero, I'm reading Attack on Titan, I'm reading Bleach, but that's old. Um, I don't know, Isaac. I mean, do you think? Well, let's say he's talking about Attack on Titan, and let's say he's talking about My Hero, right? Are you caught up with both of them?
I am caught off caught with Attack on Titans, but not My Hero.
So let's talk.
Don't you worry. You can talk. You can mention how it goes in My Hero. I don't really care. When it comes to spoilers, unless it's a thriller, I don't really care.
So we're gonna talk a lot of spoilers. So everybody, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert on the My Hero Academia manga. I'm gonna start talking in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I think Leo is maybe referring to what's happening in the My Hero manga right now, because I haven't really been caught up with actual animes that are happening right now. So I can't really say that who's a major character going to die real soon. But right now in My Hero Academia, I think it's the biggest place where anybody could die. Just because if you're caught up with the manga, you know that right now Deku is duking it out with Shigaraki. Or plus Ultra Shigaraki. And he's fighting with him by himself. His body's almost completely destroyed. And he's doing everything he can to be able to kill Shigaraki before he's able to regenerate and steal One for All from him once and for all. And right now, we know that Gran Torino is hurt. We know that Sensei Aizawa is hurt. We have not seen if they're recovering or if they're becoming dust. We don't know. We know that all the heroes that are fighting Shigaraki are very wounded. But the last thing we know is that Deku has 2 arms broken. He has 1 arm broken, 1 that's almost about to break, 2 legs that are very weak, and Bakugo, being scared for Deku's life, gets Todoroki and endeavored to help him in a last bout against Shigaraki. And the last panel of the last manga shows a character severely stabbed by Shigaraki. And I don't know, Isaac, I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to spoil it for you.
It's Bakuro, isn't it?
Who?
It's the Mr. Hothead himself, isn't it?
Who, Endeavor?
I'm talking about the Sundere kid.
Yeah, it's Bakugo.
Yeah, because the reason I said that is because he was trending on Twitter, and when you said that, that's why he did it.
Yeah, no, here's the thing, though. We don't know if he's dead. We just know that he got stabbed by Shigaraki, which can mean a multiple of things. So we haven't seen anyone die yet. And he would be a huge death if he actually does die. Now, the thing is, I don't know. I know that we just lost major characters in Titans, because those that are reading the Attack on Titan manga, spoilers for the Attack on Titan manga.
Pretty much everyone dies in that series.
Well, but here's the thing. But important deaths happen few and far between in the last couple of chapters. And the last person to die was Hange. Hange just died. And that was a big one. So I don't know, Leo. I don't know how to answer that question. Isaac, do you think Goku's going to die this time? For real?
Not for real, but he might guy from against the the current villain, but but no, that's Goku. He's want to die. But anyhow, when it comes to major villains on my part, major characters on my part, I honestly believe Eren will die, sort of.
Okay.
Because spoilers from here on out with Attack on Titans, they have shown that the mangaka has shown that he likes to mess with time and all that, yes, and which is why the whole history with Titans is so effed up, and it sort of like it doesn't go in the time doesn't seem to go in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly feel like, and we also have Eren talking about how he has to massacre a town in order to save his people. I'm not going to go into detail. Then we have, and I don't know if you remember it, but did you remember that he had a certain dream in season 1 that made him wake up? Do you also remember that Levi said during the trial that if he goes berserk, I'm cutting him down. Do you remember that?
I do.
This is what I'm thinking. Levi is going to end up killing him. How? I don't know. And that it will end up with Eren waking up from that dream we saw in season 1 at the beginning of the manga. Because I can't see how this series will end in getting a happy ending, bittersweet or not. This is a series that I can't for the how that series is going right now. I can't see anything but a bad ending, so to speak. And if we have him waking up from that dream, they also could, if they want to, have it so that he wakes up, but instead of thinking that he did some flashback dreams, he remembers everything that's happened, everything that happened, and how you can see how we approach the occurrence that happened, knowing what will happen. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Now, the only thing that kind of makes me doubt that that's the way it's gonna go. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be. It's very possible. But the only thing that makes me doubt that that's the way it's gonna go is because Isayama showed the final panel of the manga already, right? And in the final panel of the manga, you see someone that now we know looks almost identical to adult Eren holding a baby. And he's telling that baby, you are now free. So
I mean that could be an indication for this, so to speak. He is indicating that he managed to save them all afterwards.
It's very possible, but at the same time, it's
or,
like with
or,
this
or he found sort of like he finds he finds himself through time, but that baby is him, and he find it before he gets killed, because I can't see the series end without Eren die at the end, honestly.
Well, you might be onto something. You might be onto something. But then again, you also have the idea that if Eren doesn't die, whatever world is birthed out of everything that he's done, I mean, came at a terrible price. Because that's the whole thing. The whole thing about the rumbling and everything that's happening right now is that nobody believed that you needed to go to the lengths that Eren is going. But at the same time, I can't help but to a degree agree with a lot of the things that Eren is doing. From his, like, I can understand, like, I get his reasoning. Like, in a world where Titans will always exist, right? Apparently, right? Will always be around. There will as long as there's memory of a time before and after Titans, there's always going to be people trying to kill them. But if the only people that exist are the Eldians, that will no longer be a problem, which is crazy, and it's extreme. But you can't help but understand to a degree. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's why Attack on Titan is so interesting. But who knows?
Yeah,
maybe Eren will die. Maybe it's true. Maybe Eren will die. And that's the way that everything's fixed. But then again, here's the other thing. If Eren dies, the main dilemma of the show will never be fixed. And that's why I can't see that happening.
Because, how should I put it? He kills off so many characters right now. And how dark the current situation in the manga is, which begs the question for me if he has either lied when he said that he changed the ending, or changed his mind during the time. To give you an example, you have how much of Dragon Ball have you read / seen?
Oh, I haven't. I stopped at Cell Saga, so I didn't really.
Yeah, so you haven't seen you didn't see after Cell Saga, or did you see Cell Saga?
No, I saw Cell Saga, and I saw till Majin Vegeta.
Yeah. For to give you an example, Akira Toriyama apparently had plans at first to continue with the Gohan as the major protagonist after Goku sacrificed himself. The whole idea of the end fight with Cell was to build Gohan up as the new champion of the world. But what happened? He slow and steady reintroduced Son Goku as the main protagonist, so to speak. I mean, Gohan, while he did he could defend himself. In some way, it's clear that it's got obvious that he nerfed him for obvious reasons, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But and I could easily see with how the series is going that he might have changed his way, lied, or give us that panel of "you're now free," being something like it's so sort of. I remember when people talked about that panel and wondered if this was Eren ending up with Mikasa, and that was his son / daughter. but I doubt that is gonna happen right now. Well, during for reasons I won't go into, and it could all. I just have a hard time seeing him surviving, considering how the mangaka loves to mess with time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all, like I said at the beginning, ending up with him waking up from that nightmare after he dies.
I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. But yeah, Leo, you asked us a question. We don't know how to answer, but we came up with our own way of answering. Thank you, Leo, for always joining us in one way, shape, or form and supporting the podcast, brother. Thank you. I think it's safe to say that we can end this with this announcement. Isaac, they finally confirmed at the end of the year we're getting the final season of Attack on Titan. It's starting. Let's see. Let's get a date here. Final season of Attack on Titan. It starts in They already put a poster out, which is pretty awesome, and it's going to premiere in December. So, guys, we want to ask you guys if you guys want to talk to us in the comments and write it down. Do you guys want us to do weekly review of every episode as it comes out, or do you guys rather we wait till the season is over and we do a full in-depth spoiler conversation of the season? So let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any episode and live stream of the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Isaac, this has been an awesome episode, dude.
Yeah.
So next week, or on next episode, because I'm still, my business trip got extended, so I'm still isolated in a hotel. But I have my mic, I have my computer, and I'm going to keep making awesome content for you guys with my good friend Isaac. So next episode, it's going to be Smile Down the Runway, which is an awesome fashion anime. And I've seen the first 3 episodes of it as I prepare for the podcast, and it's actually pretty good. So stay tuned. That actually was Leo Rydell's recommendation. Our episode on Made in Abyss is coming out soon, and we're going to keep putting legacy episodes as I find time to edit them, because we want to keep putting fresh content for you guys on YouTube so you guys can enjoy. So Isaac, where can we find you on the webs?
You can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter, and my work at Wobam Entertainment.
And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52, where I talk about my daily stuff. I do poetry. I write for Wobam very soon, and I talk anime and comic books. So find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, guys, thank you for joining us at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We will see you next time. Have it awesome, guys. Peace.